Good aggressive forehand. She leaned on it, made it count. Boy, some exchange, and in the end, Prozorova guessed right. She had a forehand pass. Instead, Wozniacki to 15-30.
And it doesn't take long for you to remember the way Wozniacki played. She's not going to knock you over with huge shots. The backhand is the strength. She works her points. She moves you around.
Boy, strong play and a good serve set up that space.
Yeah, and Prozorova likes her backhand, and she can drive through it well, and she also will go. She'll hit some of those slices. She likes the drop shot, so something that Wozniacki's going to have to look out for. You know, they've done a lot of scouting. They have 3 matches here for them to scout. Prozorova's played over 40 matches this year, and for Wozniacki, she's now playing her 4th match in over 3 years, almost 4 years. So just something to think about as we watch this match progress. It's a whole different ball game, as you said, Leaf, than practicing and thinking you're ready.
No, it's a little short.
There was some debate. What was Wozniacki, what was she going to wear? The Adidas had that outfit that Sakari wore, and then there was the bodysuit, and chose the bodysuit. And you see the little bit of a wry smile from Wozniacki, double faulting that first point, and for her, consistency of serves is going to be critical. Doesn't knock you over with the first serve, but she just wants high percentage. Get herself into the point. not playing an opponent that's going to hurt her off the first strike if she doesn't hit a big first serve.
Oh, yes. Sensational hitting. She's got some finish in that forehand. She can really pop it.
Struck the ball beautifully that entire point and loved her footwork. You could hear the feet. You could hear those quick little steps she was taking to get set up. And then nice job finishing it off. Nice job from Wozniacki. Good first serve down a couple of break points. Got the pretty big first serve in for her, close to 100 miles an hour. And then love the way she stepped into that backhand, taking it early.
So a break right back. And that's sure signs of a tough player to bounce back after having your opening service game broken. Doesn't seem like she's afraid of this matchup tonight, Prozorova.
With what she's been through this US Open, beautifully done. Came through the qualifying, won all 3 matches in 3 sets. Was down a set and a break. One of her matches, she was down. She was down. Let's see, was it 8? I think it was 8 set points. I got to look at my. Oof. Not quite. Not quite. I'm exaggerating there. I wasn't exaggerating. She was down. She was down. She saved 8 set points in the first set against Zidansek in that final round and a match point. So she is match tough, no doubt. With all the tennis she's played this year, so many matches on the ITF, and then here 3 tough qualifying matches. Wozniacki gives Prozorova time to set up for these shots, these groundies, which she's hitting with pretty good effect. And for Wozniacki, he's going to have to work on the depth. Won't hurt her if she loops a couple more balls and gets Prozorova out of that strike zone.
Yeah, that's a nice bounce back from a breakdown. Tatiana Prozorova takes a couple of games and has a 2-1 lead.
The way she took it back, I wasn't sure what she was going to do, but she did the right thing. And 2 good first serves to start this game off and make such a difference. Hit her spot out wide on the first point, and there up the tee. And again out wide, and not going to knock you over for power with the serve, but if you hit your spots, it's so important.
Yeah, good strong service game. Gets that one at love. Download the US Open app. Follow your favorite players. Track the latest score, stats, match highlights, player news, and more. Available in the App Store and Google Play Store. You can see the various social media vehicles you can use to follow. usopen.org.
When you think about it, when Prozorova was 4 years old, Wozniacki was playing a final here in 2009. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the 09 US Open, her first major final, of course. Second US Open final in 2014. It was 09, she lost to Kim Clijsters. And in 14, it was Serena Williams who stopped her, of course. Fast friends, the two of them. Now that's a little wild, and that's something that Wozniacki is hoping to see. You know, able to break down her younger opponent. Because Caroline doesn't give you too many free points. She's going to make you earn everything out here.
Vintage Wozniacki point, that last one. And then you start putting the pressure on your opponent.
Oh, yes.
We got the Prozorova box there. And for Wozniacki, early in that point, she read the drop shot well. But it was Prozorova who really turned that point into offense at the end.
Wow, 3 great shots in a row. Now remember, all the line calls are made by the electronic line calling system, so she's just asking for, you know, a review of what the machine saw.
Because was that a physically possible shot? That was gorgeous. That was an incredible backhand. That angle that Prozorova found there just struck the ball beautifully the whole point, giving herself the ad. And then you do that, and that's what being young is all about, and figuring it out. And you play an incredible point the previous one. You want to build on that.
Now she's got some firepower on the forehand wing. We've seen it, and we're going to see it many times tonight, I think. If Wozniacki gives her a little space, a little time, she's going to try and make something happen. Boy, a wonderfully athletic point in defense. So Prozorova was really showing off a fair amount of skill. Her team's happy to see it. Her family's in attendance. And the crowd is tucked in pretty nicely for this special moment, Wozniacki's return to the US Open. And that seems like she's improved a little bit. I know we haven't seen her serve and be in a situation where he has to produce shots like this, but so far looking very effective, particularly that one out wide.
Well, she doesn't put much on it. You see it's 72 miles an hour, and it's just about the placement. And again, the 1-2 punch. And if you're Prozorova, think back to her previous service game. The first 2 points, same exact thing. Went wide to your forehand in the deuce court, and is going up that tee to your forehand in the ad. Got to cover the strength serve, and then it's going to force her to go to the area that she doesn't want to hit to. She's not as comfortable going up the tee in the deuce court. And as well as she hits her backhand, I think she should probably put that little slice away for the moment, for the time being.
Yeah, I think she was surprised with that ball coming straight down the center of the court. Well, since spring broken, she's won 8 straight points on her serve, so she's gotten into a good rhythm now that she's maybe past those early nervous moments. Both players, I think, had a few nervous moments early. Traded breaks in the opening 2 games.
And when she sets up Prozorova, she can pack a punch with those groundies. And that's just beautifully struck. Held it for just that split second.
Yeah, that was an exchange filled with variety and a little bit of tension. But changing that line, you have to be very careful with that. It's a very cross-court angle, and suddenly down the line with underspin. That can be tricky to handle.
Yeah, and you saw that little slice from Wozniacki, who I want to say later in her career kind of developed that little two-handed slice. Wozniacki, she moved in, even though she's not a player that really goes after second serves, but intimidated Prozorova enough to get that, to get her thinking, and threw in the double fault.
All right, Caroline Wozniacki, another break of serve, and this time she's ahead with the break. Well, the Gulf and experience.
One in that first point, establishing herself that first point of the game. And again, if you're Prozorova and Wozniacki throwing in a second serve with very little on it, you cannot make those unforced errors. You either have to make up your mind, if I'm gonna be ultra aggressive, yes, you can throw in an error or two, but when it's a neutral shot you're trying to hit, it's just too costly.
And this is the kind of effect that Wozniacki can have on players, right? This consistent, steady, deep attack. It's tough to break down.
Well, she was one of those players where you're the opponent, you walk off the court and like, what exactly did happen to me? I wasn't overpowered, but she wore me down.
Yeah, Wozniacki has 4 winners. So a lot of her success tonight is producing errors out of her opponent. Oh, yes. Boy, some very difficult swing volleys, but she managed those well.
It was one of those points of should I or shouldn't I? Should I come in? Should I? She hesitated a little bit, but handled the swing volleys well and gotten herself into the driver's seat in this opening set.
We mentioned her reaching the finals a couple of times here in New York. She also reached the semifinals here 3 other times. So she enjoys the hard courts. And I think the faster hard courts maybe even make her a little bit better player.
They did. They always did throughout her career. And you would think with her game, people always thought she should have been so good on clay. And clay was not her best surface by any stretch. It was the hard courts where she could hit through the ball a little bit more. She couldn't hit through the clay as much.
Yes.
The pace of the court helped her.
And then also on the other side of that, Wimbledon was a tricky challenge for her. Got to the 4th round a couple of times, but never really had a breakthrough. Roland Garros, a couple of quarterfinals, down to the final 8.
That was a little bit of footwork. And went with that slice, but needed just a step or 2 more.
You don't want to be too charitable, giving your opponent chances on your serve. And in this case, it could be a set.
It was really nicely done, and nice job from Wozniacki making her hit the extra ball. Actually made her hit 2 extras.
All right, that forehand error has brought up a set point chance for Caroline Wozniacki. Beautiful ace right on the center line. And just catching the edge of it.
For Prozorova, she needs more serves like that. Only serving at 48%.
Wonderful exchange, and Wozniacki with a little touch at the net.
And you watch Wozniacki, nice with the slice, and here she hits the 2-handed volley on this low one. She was always very good with the two hands on the volley. She kind of made that decision in her career. You know, a lot of players learn to volley with the one hand. She did it with two, but has really nice feel.
And there's the set. So Wozniacki, a great start. Her team, her family's happy about that. Her taking the opener 6-3. Serve down the stretch as Wozniacki won at 6-3, and Caroline serving first in the second. Well, the crowd is certainly enjoying themselves here on day one, this evening session. So glad you could be with us. Leif Shiras alongside Elise Bergen. And over the course of the tennis season, there are always some stories that emerge that are captivating and really propel the sport forward. And one of them, the return of Caroline Wozniacki. Now, the other has been the emergence of Coco Gauff of late. And Gauff just completing her match over on Arthur Ashe Stadium court to win in the first round. Lara Siegemund. It was a three-set battle for Gauff, so she's into the second round.
It was interesting to see how she navigated someone who came in a lot, who volleyed, who threw a lot of different things at her, and that's what the game is all about. How do you make these adjustments to different types of players? And for Wozniacki, picking up right where she left off in that opening set, it can often be difficult when you're sitting there. It takes probably from last ball, it was probably close to 10 minutes between the diagnosis and then the treatment. Can really cool down.
Yeah, and that interruption can really be a momentum stopper unless you are aware of it and step up and recapture that form from when you sort of sat down.
The game has changed so much in these last, the last 10, 15 years where it's used, where you use those breaks strategically. Oh my.
How did she win that point?
That's what you call getting away with one. She did not look like Carlitos hitting the forehand drop shot, but the intention, I understood the intention, but got away with it. And obviously making reference to Alcaraz, who's really, in my mind, has changed the game a lot with that forehand drop shot. Seeing so many more players starting to implement it, but never seen one as good as his. Agree, disagree?
Oh, I agree, and I feel like more and more players are utilizing the drop shot and having great effect with it. Of course, that combined with players playing deeper in the court more than ever before. And that's the evolution of the game, isn't it? How patterns change. Not much serve and volley anymore. Now it's serve and maybe a swing volley.
Right.
But lots of long rallies, concentrated baseline play. It's inviting for drop shots. With
the strings and the equipment coming in and volleying, got to be a really good volleyer to handle the pace and the spin.
Wozniacki may have gotten away with one there, sort of a high forehand volley.
Do you have the confidence that you can repeat and repeat and repeat against someone who's going to make you work so hard and hit so many balls?
She used the underspin backhand here just to set up this hit.
Of course, when I say she needs to put it away, then she executes.
Yeah, exactly. And you want to be selective about when you use it. What's the next play off that shot? Yeah, Wozniacki just rolling that ball up high. Just doesn't give you much to work with. There wasn't much pace there. It was a beautiful nothing.
Exactly.
She dropped that one right on the line and moving so well. I know she's run a marathon or two,
yes.
So she doesn't mind movement. She's good at it and can run all day.
And for Prozorova, not the willingness to just stay out there and go toe-to-toe, shot to shot. Seems like she just feels like she's got to change that pace at some point during these points, that doesn't have the consistency to hang with her. And these are big points for both, for Wozniacki, if she can get this early break in the second set. And for Prozorova, she's got to hang in there. And for Prozorova, she's got to believe. You've got to believe in your shot making. You've got to look at the other side of the net and say, well, is she hurting me off the ground? No, she's not. Where I'm losing points with my unforced errors. And can I increase my margins? Can I cut those errors down? How do I do that?
Boy, that's some pretty nice play. And a nice recovery, too. Saved a couple break points and looked very confident up there at the net. This is a young player, just 19 years of age. We've spoken of how she's had some success at the ITF level. She got to the second round in Palermo, clay court event in Italy, so that was her first WTA match win. But that's about it. Her first Grand Slam tennis here in New York.
Oh, that's beautiful. And you're Wozniacki, and you certainly wish you had gotten that break of serve, because you see right there where Prozorova can be dangerous off the ground. And flat one up the tee. She's used the wide one so well. So very smart serving from Wozniacki.
Boy, did that catch the line? Yeah, I think it did.
Here comes the close call, but to no avail.
Well, 70% out is 100% in. Yeah, sometimes in these rallies, Prozorova is letting the ball come to her. You know, she has a deep position. You know, if she goes to the ball a little bit, she can take a little more time away from Wozniacki. All right, back to deuce. Now that's been an effective play, and you can see she was up on the baseline that time, cutting the ball off. See how she steps up inside the court?
Yeah, and look at her balance, and just terrific hip and shoulder turn there.
Oh yeah, Wozniacki says, well, I can do it with the two-hander.
Right. My hips and shoulders are pretty darn good too.
Some really wonderful shot making early in this second set as Wozniacki's trying to get to 2-1. And that has to be the game plan against someone like Wozniacki. It doesn't produce a lot of pace on that second serve. Be aggressive, impose yourself. Here's another second serve and a break point.
When you start having these long games, even though it's early in the set, they take on more importance. And for Wozniacki, had those couple of break points the previous game. Looking to gut this game out here. Against a player who's toughed out a bunch of 3-set matches, 3 of them, to get through qualifying. Oh, and that was so close.
At the start of the year. And how about that? An amazing number of active Grand Slam champions. 19 of them. 19. That was so good, Wozniacki couldn't even get to it. Brilliant volley.
You just get the sense that Prozorova is starting to get very comfortable out here. He's grown in confidence, and it's going to be important for Wozniacki to stay with her. Stay with her and keep that pressure on her in this second set, because you can just sense that the confidence is growing.
This is certainly a strong game. And it's fun to watch a young player like this and see the potential future that she would have as a player. I mean, she's got a lot of skills, good from the back, really good off both sides, and very comfortable at the net. She might need a little more polish about her game.
Yeah, but you see a point like that, and that's where you tell yourself, I did everything right. And you have to be forgiving of yourself in those situations. Though there are good errors, and then there are errors. There are good and bad errors. That's a good error. When you just give a point away, that's a different story. But she's starting to impose herself more on Wozniacki.
And the serve also seems like a shot in development. You can see the double faults, and I think the first serve's more effective than the second, but boy, the second is really how you measure a good serve.
Whoa.
What an exchange. And the reactions for both players will tell you how tough it was.
That one deserves a standing O. That was a great point. All the way around.
Yeah, it gets Wozniacki back to deuce. Look at it, a 30-shot rally. And does it chip away at Prozorova's confidence? We'll see. She was up 40-love in the game. Now it's deuce. Oh, and Wozniacki gets her again.
Check out the angle here, Wozniacki. Well, maybe a little luck there, but look at this angle on this backhand. So good off the two-hander on the run. Not an easy shot. Just always was just so good with that offhand. For her with that left hand, using that left hand on the backhand. Gives herself a really important break point.
And there's the break. What a comeback. As Prozorova had 40-love and was looking to make some moves to get a 2-all.
And that's just demoralizing.
USOpen.org is your online home for point-by-point live scoring, highlights, real-time stats, and draws. Visit the official tournament site at USOpen.org. See Facebook, X, Instagram. It's all there for you. Well, it didn't miss by much. A millimeter.
And how important that last game was. Just when Prozorova was starting to, you had the sense that she was growing in confidence. Her shot production had improved. She's a really good ball striker, but there's so much more to it. And the toughness of Wozniacki, even with this couple of year break, you can just see how the mind, her mind is still incredible out there. gets through this match. It's not as if it's someone that she doesn't know or hasn't played. It'll be like old hat in that regard.
That's out.
But Wozniacki has said, you know, I believe I can win. She's testing things right now, but she's got the confidence that if she gets match tough, if she starts to get on a roll, that she can still compete with everyone. Wouldn't be out here.
Yeah, it's sort of fun to watch her process a match and process success and mistakes like that. She just gets on with business, doesn't she? So strong mentally. And obviously it's a little easier when you're up a set in 4-1, but that's always been one of her strengths, is her ability to focus and concentrate for a long period of time.
And if she plays Kvitova, obviously a lefty, and a whole different ball of wax where she'd be playing someone with a big first serve. The serve of Prozorova hasn't been able to impact Wozniacki. If you don't serve very well and you don't get freebies off your serve, you're going to have a hard time with someone like a Wozniacki, who gives you nothing, who doesn't throw points away.
All right, so here's a chance for 5-1. Yeah, there it is. There's Wozniacki out of Denmark. And on the men's side today, the biggest upset so far in the tournament, another player from Denmark, Holger Rune, was beaten by Roberto Carballo-Baenas, a pretty good Spaniard. There was something in that one as well.
Yeah, who had only played on clay leading up to this U.S. Open, Baenas. So it's interesting, but because one of the motivators for Wozniacki is the Olympics, and she has said she wants to play mixed doubles with Holger Rune. So you've got that whole Danish, I want to represent my country, I want to represent Denmark at the Olympics one more time, and do it where I've got this young guy.
Oh, lovely. Well, maybe a last gasp to show off some of her skills. She certainly has talent, right? I mean, she's got some shot-making skills, that's for certain. Is it enough to see her make a charge into the top 100, just outside the top 200 now?
She should, but she's going to have to work on that serve. She strikes the ball well enough, but a lot of people strike the ball well, but she moves well. She's got some variety, has to really continue to work on that slice. I see where she wants to hit it. Doesn't hit it great yet.
And didn't mean to interrupt your thought on the Olympics. I mean, they would happen next year at Roland Garros in France on the clay. And obviously they would make a great pair. And Rune's had success on the clay. He's very comfortable there.
Yeah, and she wants to play with him. I mean, he's 4 in the world. He and Alcaraz are the same age. I mean, Rune is, they're very different personalities, but Rune is really good.
And like Prozorova, a young player, still in that developmental phase. Well, I think she'll take this one. I'm not sure she hit it exactly cleanly, but she pulled it that way. Let's see. Yeah, caught the line.
And you think about her U.S. Open right now, and she's got the break point. Prozorova wins 3 rounds of qualifying, all in 3 sets. Was down a match point her last qualifying match. She was down a set and a break in the 2nd round of qualifying, so it's been quite a U.S. Open for her. Her first ever major.
And there's a break back, so Prozorova. Here she comes. She's got some momentum.
So you're Prozorova, you get the 1 break. The only thing you think about is, let me hold this. Got to hold here, of course, to stay in it. And let's see, can I get another break back again? You know, when you get down to these parts of the match and you're down, you just think 1 point at a time. And maybe start thinking, well, you know what? She hasn't been in this position for quite a long time. It may not be so simple for Wozniacki to close.
Yeah, that's one of the sort of tests of being a winner, is closing out matches, closing out tough encounters like this. Because you know your opponent's going to play his or her best to try and keep this match alive, to keep going. So you've got to find that level.
You're Wozniacki, and she has other things on her mind too. She's got tennis, but their diapers to be changed later. They're just 2 kids, very busy. Talking about compartmentalizing, that's what you learn to do. Oh, and that's just not what you want to do, of course.
she's victorious in her return to the US Open. Yeah, she did so many things well tonight. And she'll be happy with a victory. Back in the Big Apple and back on top, 6-3, 6-2.
And this is not a match she would have won if she hadn't played well, because Prozorova hits a really good ball. I mean, maybe not the greatest in terms of shot selection throughout that match, but that's credit to Wozniacki, who makes you work so hard. So this was incredibly impressive from a player who's been away from the game for 3 years, is just coming back,